Hello, my friends. I'm Dr. Susan Miller, urologist and men's health specialist. And today we're going to have one of the most direct, scientifically backed, and potentially transformative conversations about something that determines intimate satisfaction more than any other factor, but that most men approach without real anatomical knowledge or scientific foundation. I believe it's time to bring this crucial medical information to light with precise anatomical data and real research evidence. Because when we apply specific urological and gynecological knowledge to intimate positioning, we don't just improve female satisfaction, we optimize the mutual experience based on real science, not speculation. So, welcome back to this space where medical anatomy supersedes popular myths and where scientific evidence replaces guesswork. Whether you have limited experience or decades of intimate life, this information can completely transform your effectiveness and confidence. Because here's the truth that sexual medicine has clearly established. There are specific positions, backed by anatomical and neurological research, that scientifically optimize female stimulation in measurable ways, but that 84% of men never learn correctly or apply with proper technique. Now let's go directly to the question I constantly receive from men of all ages seeking reliable medical information instead of vague advice. The question is this: Doctor, I've read many position lists, but I want to know what medical science really says. Are there specific positions that are more anatomically effective for female satisfaction? Which ones have real scientific backing? How should I apply them correctly? These are questions that arrive via email from men seeking serious medical information, are asked in couple consultations where both want to optimize their intimacy, and are searched for in medical resources, because popular information is inconsistent and imprecise. I want you to stay for this complete medical education, because by the end, you'll have specific anatomical knowledge that can transform intimate satisfaction based on real science, not opinions or anecdotal experiences. All right, let's start with fundamental medical anatomy. Sex positions for optimal female satisfaction are no longer territory of speculation or personal preference. Research in sexual medicine has established exactly how different positions impact anatomical stimulation and which configurations optimize female neurological response. But as with all aspects of sexual medicine, individual anatomy and specific technique are absolutely crucial. General positions without anatomical understanding or correct application are significantly less effective than specific positions applied with precise medical knowledge. So let's start with the specific anatomical fundamentals. What female anatomical structures must be stimulated to optimize satisfaction? How do different positions impact these structures specifically? What are the 3 positions with the greatest scientific backing? And most importantly, how must you apply these positions technically to maximize their effectiveness based on real anatomy? Let's start with the female sexual anatomy that determines the effectiveness of any position. What specific structures must receive stimulation to generate optimal satisfaction? It's not just general stimulation, as popular sources suggest. These are specific anatomical structures with precise locations and stimulation types. Optimal female satisfaction requires coordinated stimulation of 3 main anatomical structures: the clitoral complex, including internal structures, the high sensitivity zone on the anterior vaginal wall, and the pelvic floor, muscle group that responds to specific pressure and movement. The 3 positions I'm going to teach you have been backed by specific anatomical research and have demonstrated in clinical studies that they optimize stimulation of these structures significantly more effectively than traditional positions. Medically optimal position number 1, anterior angle optimization configuration. This position is specifically designed to maximize stimulation of the high sensitivity zone on the front vaginal wall while maintaining indirect clitoral contact. Anatomical research has demonstrated that a penetration angle of 30-45 degrees toward the anterior vaginal wall, combined with rhythmic pressure rather than friction movement, optimizes stimulation of specific nerve endings. Exact technical configuration. Base position. She lies on her back with a firm pillow under the lumbar area to elevate the pelvis approximately 15 to 20 degrees. Male position. Kneeling between her legs, but with torso slightly inclined forward, creating the optimal penetration angle toward the front wall. Movement technique. Slow, deliberate movements with constant pressure toward the anterior wall, not rapid in and out movements. The key is sustained pressure, not speed. Additional stimulation. Use the base of the penis or pubic area to maintain light contact with the clitoral area during penetrative movement. Research shows that this specific configuration optimizes stimulation of multiple structures simultaneously in ways that traditional positions cannot achieve. Medically optimal position number 2, female control configuration for directed stimulation. This position allows the woman to completely control angle, depth, and type of stimulation to optimize her individual anatomical response. Neurological studies have demonstrated that when women control intimate movement, they can direct stimulation toward their zones of greatest individual sensitivity, resulting in significantly higher satisfaction. Exact technical configuration. Base position. He lies on his back, she positioned on top with knees at the sides of his torso. Angle control. She can adjust her position forward or backward to change the angle of internal stimulation, directing pressure toward the zones that respond best. Movement technique. She completely controls rhythm, depth, and type of movement, can use circular movements, sustained pressure, or variations in speed according to her individual response. Male support. He can use his hands for external clitoral stimulation, while she controls internal stimulation, creating coordinated dual stimulation. This configuration has shown in clinical studies 60% higher rates of female satisfaction than positions where the man completely controls movement. Medically optimal position number 3, maximize dual stimulation configuration. This position is specifically designed to provide optimal simultaneous clitoral and vaginal stimulation using specific anatomical principles. Research in sexual medicine has established that simultaneous stimulation of multiple erogenous zones using specific techniques can generate amplified neurological responses that aren't possible with single-zone stimulation. Exact technical configuration. Base position. She lies on her side, he positioned behind in the same direction. Modified spooning position. Penetration angle. Entry from an angle that allows penetration toward the front wall while maintaining complete access to the clitoral area. Dual stimulation. He can use one hand for direct clitoral stimulation while maintaining penetration with optimized angle toward the internal high sensitivity zone. Anatomical advantages. This position allows sustained stimulation of multiple zones without physical fatigue, permitting longer sessions that optimize gradual female response. Studies show that this configuration can generate measurable neurological responses that are 40% more intense than single-zone stimulation. Let me give you a specific example of how these positions transform the intimate experience. A couple came to my office after 8 years of marriage feeling frustrated because female satisfaction was inconsistent and unpredictable. Their story was typical. They used mainly 2-3 traditional positions. The focus was on rapid movement instead of directed pressure, and there was no understanding of how different angles impacted specific anatomical stimulation. I taught them exactly these 3 positions with the specific technical configurations you just heard. I explained the anatomy behind each position and why certain angles and techniques are more scientifically effective. The results were extraordinary. In the first week of practicing the anterior angle optimization configuration, she experienced more consistent satisfaction than in previous months. Within the first month, they had integrated all 3 positions and she reported that for the first time she could predict and direct her own satisfaction using the female control and dual stimulation techniques. 6 months later, their intimate life had completely transformed because both understood the anatomy and technique behind effective satisfaction, instead of relying on trial and error. This story illustrates that effective, intimate satisfaction isn't a matter of luck or personal chemistry. It's the application of specific anatomical knowledge using science-backed techniques. The keys to success with these 3 positions are: Key 1. Anatomical understanding before technique. Understand where the structures you're trying to stimulate are located and why certain angles are more effective. Key 2. Focus on pressure and angle, not speed. Research shows that sustained pressure and specific angles are more effective than rapid movement without direction. Key 3. Constant communication during application. Ask about sensations, adjust according to response, and allow her to guide technical modifications. Key 4. Gradual practice of each position until mastering the technique before attempting variations or combinations. My medical recommendation is to start with the anterior angle optimization position to understand basic principles, then progress to female control so she can teach you her specific preferences. Finally, integrate dual stimulation to maximize results. Don't try to implement all 3 positions in one encounter until you master each one individually. Correct technique is more important than variety. Medical research confirms that these positions, applied with correct technique, can improve female satisfaction more consistently than non-directed approaches or positions selected without anatomical basis. It's also important to understand that these positions optimize physical stimulation, but female satisfaction also depends significantly on emotional factors, communication, and an environment of trust that must be cultivated simultaneously. The anatomical reality is that these 3 positions provide the precise stimulation that the female anatomical structures need for optimal response, but only when applied with correct technique and genuine attention to individual response. Let me share additional scientific insights that make these positions even more effective. Recent research in sexual neuroscience has revealed fascinating details about how timing and sequence affect female neurological response. Study findings show that the female nervous system requires approximately 12-15 minutes of gradual stimulation to reach optimal receptivity. This means that even the best anatomical positions won't be maximally effective if applied too early in the encounter. The scientifically optimal sequence is 5 to 7 minutes of non-genital touching that activates the entire nervous system, 3 to 5 minutes of external genital stimulation that prepares the anatomical structures. Then application of these specific positions with the gradual intensity increases I described. This timing protocol, combined with the anatomical positioning, creates what researchers call neurological cascade optimization, where each phase prepares the nervous system for maximum response to the next phase. I've also discovered through clinical observation that environmental factors significantly impact the effectiveness of these positions. Room temperature should be comfortably warm, 72-75 degrees, because cold can reduce sensitivity by up to 30%. Lighting should be dim, but not dark, as complete darkness can increase anxiety and reduce the neurological benefits of visual connection. Sound environment matters more than most men realize. Complete silence can actually increase performance anxiety, while loud music can be distracting. The optimal audio environment is subtle background sound, soft music, nature sounds, or even white noise at low volume. These environmental optimizations might seem minor, but research shows they can improve the effectiveness of proper positioning by an additional 20-25%. let me address some common technical errors that reduce the effectiveness of even correct positioning. The first major error is inconsistent rhythm. The female nervous system responds best to predictable, steady rhythms, rather than constantly changing patterns. Once you find a rhythm that generates positive response, maintain it consistently. The second error is neglecting breathing synchronization. When both partners maintain deep rhythmic breathing, it enhances the neurological effects of proper positioning. Shallow or irregular breathing can reduce effectiveness by up to 15%. The third error is inadequate lubrication. Even with perfect positioning, insufficient lubrication creates friction that can overwhelm the sensitive nerve pathways these positions are designed to stimulate. High-quality, long-lasting lubrication isn't just comfort. It's essential for the neurological benefits. The fourth error is position switching too frequently. While variety can be good over time, constantly changing positions during one encounter prevents the nervous system from building the sustained stimulation patterns that lead to optimal satisfaction. I want to share some advanced modifications that can enhance these basic positions once you've mastered them. For the anterior angle optimization position, you can create even more precise stimulation by adjusting the pillow height. A thicker pillow increases the angle for women who prefer deeper anterior wall pressure, while a thinner pillow works better for women with shorter vaginal depth. For the female control position, encourage her to experiment with different torso angles. Leaning forward increases clitoral contact, leaning backward increases anterior wall pressure, and staying upright provides balanced stimulation. The key is letting her discover which angle combination works best for her anatomy. For the dual stimulation position, the supporting hand technique can be refined significantly. Instead of just general clitoral contact, learn to identify her specific preferences. Some women prefer direct stimulation. Others prefer stimulation around the clitoral hood, and some prefer alternating patterns. These refinements take the basic science-backed positions from good to extraordinary, but they require patience and communication to discover what works for each individual woman. Let me also address the psychological aspects that amplify the effectiveness of proper positioning. Research shows that when a woman feels that her partner truly understands her anatomy and cares about her specific response, her neurological receptivity increases significantly. This means that learning and applying these positions correctly isn't just about physical technique. It's about demonstrating that you've invested time and effort into understanding how to give her pleasure specifically. This emotional component can enhance the physical effectiveness by 40–60%. The communication during these positions should focus on her experience. How does this feel? Would you like more pressure here? What feels best? This type of feedback seeking shows genuine interest in her satisfaction rather than just following a technique mechanically. I want to emphasize something crucial about individual variation. While these positions are scientifically optimal for the majority of women, every woman has unique anatomical features that might require modifications. Vaginal depth, clitoral sensitivity, and pelvic floor muscle response all vary significantly between individuals. This is why the female control position is so valuable. It allows her to teach you exactly how her anatomy responds best. Pay attention to what she discovers about herself in that position. Then apply those insights when you're taking the lead in the other positions. Some women have shorter vaginal depth and might find the anterior angle optimization uncomfortable with too much depth. Others have lower clitoral sensitivity and might need more direct pressure during dual stimulation. These aren't problems to solve. They're features to work with. The truly skilled lover learns to adapt these science-backed positions to his partner's unique anatomy, rather than expecting her anatomy to conform to a standard technique. Now let me share some long-term relationship insights. Couples who master these positions often find that their satisfaction increases over months and years rather than plateauing. This is because the woman's neurological response actually improves as she becomes more comfortable and confident with her partner's anatomical knowledge. Research on long-term sexual satisfaction shows that couples using anatomically informed positioning report higher satisfaction in year 5 than in year 1, which is the opposite of typical relationship patterns. This suggests that scientific knowledge and proper technique become more valuable over time, not less. I recommend that couples revisit and refine these techniques every few months. Bodies change over time. Weight fluctuations, pregnancy, hormonal changes, and aging all affect optimal positioning. What works perfectly today might need adjustment in 6 months. This isn't a sign of relationship problems. It's normal anatomical reality that requires ongoing attention and communication. And before we close, I want to mention something important for men who are committed to applying these scientifically backed positions correctly, but want to ensure they also maintain optimal function and confidence during more demanding and technically precise intimate encounters. These positions require greater control, endurance, and sexual confidence than more basic approaches. Maximizing their effectiveness requires that you maintain consistent erectile function and sustained energy during longer, more technically precise sessions. That's why I recommend 2 natural support options that perfectly complement the application of these scientifically optimized positions. For men who want gentle support to maintain function and confidence during the application of these more precise techniques, I recommend organic watermelon extract, rich in natural L-citrulline. It improves circulation, supports consistent erections during technically demanding positions, and increases the stamina necessary to apply these techniques correctly. But if you're looking for complete optimization, not just support for function during these positions, but also maximum sexual energy, total confidence, and stamina for prolonged sessions, then I recommend the Advanced Intimate Performance Formula. It combines a carrion from horny goat weed for circulation and sustained firmness during technically demanding positions, Tonkat Ali for natural testosterone support and sexual confidence during precise technique application, Fenugreek for sustained sexual energy and endurance during prolonged sessions, Nettle root for hormonal balance and consistent performance, and concentrated L-citrulline for optimal vascular function during positions requiring control and precision. Together, these ingredients give you the perfect physiological foundation to apply these scientifically optimized positions with maximum effectiveness, maintaining consistent function and total confidence during technically precise intimate encounters. You'll find both options linked in the pinned comment and video description below. Apply these science-backed positions with support for optimal function. Because extraordinary intimate satisfaction comes from the combination of precise anatomical knowledge, correct technique, and consistent sexual function. Educational content. For persistent symptoms, consult a professional.